Philippines are America's largest foothold in the Pacific, and as a result, Japan desperately needs to conquer them.
The Philippines are commanded by US General Douglas MacArthur. Within 10 hours of the Japanese strike on Pearl Harbor, he finds himself facing a devastating attack.
The Japanese attack initially comes in the form of air raids, followed by Japanese amphibious landings on the island of Luzon, and General Douglas MacArthur, commanding American and also Philippine forces, makes a tactical decision that the way he will fight will be to back down this peninsula that's on the western side of Manila Bay, that's called Bataan.
Besieged by almost 200,000 Japanese troops, MacArthur is outnumbered 4-1, and he has 25,000 civilians under his protection. Pummeled by relentless Japanese bombardment and racked with rampant malaria, MacArthur's force resists until February, but the situation is hopeless.
MacArthur realises that he simply can't hold out any longer, so he's ordered to abandon the Philippines, and he gets on board a torpedo boat, and he turns and waves to the people he's leaving behind, and he says, "I shall return."
He was ordered to leave the Philippine Islands so that we would not have to face something as the British faced at Singapore, where you see this well-known general come out and surrender to the Japanese.
The 11,500 American and 64,000 Filipino soldiers left behind are rounded up.
Forces that surrender in the Bataan Peninsula then have to be moved to a prisoner of war holding area at a place called Camp O'Donnell, 68 miles, and they're forced to cover that distance on foot.
So many prisoners die on the infamous 68-mile walk to Camp O'Donnell that it becomes known as the Bataan Death March.
The Japanese force thousands to march through these absolutely appalling conditions, and along the way they chop off the heads of American officers with samurai swords. They just sort of run bayonets through Filipinos. It's basically murder, and about 1,100 Americans are killed along the way, along with 5,000 Filipinos. It's utterly horrific.